Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and this is about healthcare. I've been following Kenneth Mejia, the Green Party candidate for the 34th District in Los Angeles. The election is going to be April 4th, and hopefully he'll make top two. I've been following his Facebook for a while now. I don't post; I just look and learn. And so I see information, very helpful information offered at his Facebook page. And so this is about healthcare, which of course I'm very interested in. And as a Green, he supports universal healthcare for all. He supports everyone receiving quality healthcare as part of the Green Party platform. If you're voting for a Green ever, know and trust and believe that you are voting for universal health care. And so he has an image on his Facebook page, and I'll link to it. And it's about universal health care, and he's just naming off the countries that have universal health care and their start dates. And I'm going to go through it and just name them off, and then I'll post a link in the description. And so he says, and it's in alphabetical order. So Australia has had universal health care since 1975. Austria since 1967. Bahrain since 1957. Belgium since 1945. Brunei since 1958. Canada since 1966. Cyprus since 1980. Denmark since 1973. Finland since 1972, France since 1974, Germany since 1941, Greece since 1983, Hong Kong since 1993, Iceland since 1990, Ireland since 1977, Israel since 1995, Italy since 1978, Japan since 1938, Kuwait since 1950, Luxembourg since 1973, the Netherlands since 1966, New Zealand since 1938, Norway since 1912, Portugal 1979, Singapore 1993, Slovenia since 1972, South Korea since 1988, Spain since 1986, Sweden since 1955, United Arab Emirates since 1971, the United Kingdom since 1948. And so many of these countries have been developing their healthcare systems, taking very great pride in taking care of their citizens all during the 20th century. And maybe still some more will continue to add on universal health care as part of their national program. It would be nice if the United States joined instead of just sending money to support the healthcare systems of other nations in the form of foreign aid, that perhaps we should use that money for our own healthcare system that people seem to think that we cannot afford, or that we don't deserve, uh, which makes no sense. And so the question is, why don't we have universal health care? And there's another image at Kenneth Mejia's Facebook page, and it just shows the 2016 contributions from the health insurance industry to certain members of the United States Congress. And I'll name off those names and the amount they received from the healthcare insurance industry, because the insurance industry is what siphons off the majority of the money that is paid in premiums. That goes to the insurance industry, not necessarily the doctors or the hospitals itself for actual care. It goes to the insurance company that skims off their cut, and then for administration, for fees for services, operations, overhead, and then as a result, we have inferior service. But anyway, there's a Medicare for All bill that John Conyers has come up with, and he's introduced it over and over into the Congress. Most members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus have signed on as endorsers. Some members of the Congressional Black Caucus have signed on as endorsers, but many have not. And the reason why is the insurance companies themselves who want to maintain their slice of the high insurance premiums that we, the citizens, pay, the penalties that we pay, the premiums, the deductible that we pay, any co-pays that are needed, and then also, out-of-pocket expense for whatever is not covered. So they manage to get a lot of money from the citizen. Universal healthcare means cutting out the insurance companies and making them supplemental to the quality of preventative and necessary, needed, required services. And so the insurance companies wants to continue to get their slice, and so they're paying people in the Congress to vote down or to disregard Medicare for all, single payer universal health care. And so these are the names. Ted Cruz, a Republican senator from Texas, has received $3.2 million in contributions from the healthcare insurance industry in 2016. Paul Ryan, Republican congressman from Wisconsin, has received $1.7 million. Richard Burr, Republican from North Carolina, has received $1.6 million from the healthcare insurance industry. Roy Blunt, Republican of Missouri, received $1.3 million from the health insurance industry. Michael Bennet, a Democrat from Colorado, he's received $1.2 million from the health insurance industry. And then Marco Rubio, Republican senator from Florida, has received $2.3 million from the health insurance industry. Charles or Chuck Schumer, he has received $1.4 million from the health insurance industry. And then Rob Portman, from the senator from Ohio, Republican, has received $1.4 million from the health insurance industry. And then Pat Toomey, the Republican from Pennsylvania, has received $1.2 million from the health insurance industry. And then Patty Murray, the Democrat from Washington, has received $1.2 million from the health insurance industry. These politicians that I just named off, who are politicians and not necessarily public servants, because they are actually servants to the health insurance industry that has rented them and their votes and their time and their influence. So these politicians are pretty consistent and quibbling and quabbling and squabbling over the Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act as opposed to the Affordable Health Care Act or the AHCA, Trump Care. The reason being that they're keeping the conversation focused on these two horrific deals. One is worse, the other is worser. It's like a sword and shield situation where they just fight and battle against each other and create a lot of noise and distraction. But both of these two, Obamacare and Trump Ryan Care, don't address the fact that it's the health insurance industry that is the main beneficiary of these two health insurance packages, that it's not the citizen. It's not the patient. It's not even the doctors or the hospitals. It's the health insurance industry. And for that reason, they're making a lot of noise about, Obamacare versus Trump Romney care or Trump Ryan care. All the noise is being made over there, and people are pretending like they don't know about Medicare for All, the expanded Medicare for All Act by John Conyers, or the concept of single payer. And we see the reason why they're being paid not to discuss that, to pretend it does not exist, or that it's not possible, or that we, the citizens, do not deserve to have good health. And in fact, we deserve, barely deserve what little we are allowed with Romney. It's all the same. Romney care, Obama care, Ryan care, Trump care. Both of them are actually taking care of the health insurance industries, not the citizen, not the patient, not even the doctors or the nurses or the hospitals. And so, what I'm hoping is that what I've been seeing, I go to the resistance calendar every now and then to see what people are doing, what the conversations on the ground are about. I mean, we see what the conversations on CNN and MSNBC are way up there in Washington. But on the ground, people are starting to turn the conversation away from the ACA. They're starting to get through their minds finally that what is the use in defending a flawed product when there is a superior product that's beneficial to everyone, to all of us, not just some of us, not just half of us, not just, the ones that, everyone benefits from single payer health care. Everyone benefits from having the Medicare for all, or the Medicare age lowered, the mandate for 65 and up, that we all can participate underneath John Conyers' bill. And so people on the ground are mobilizing and organizing on Medicare for all. The conversation has gotten away from the control, finally, of the Democratic and Republican Party members who are kind of making false strawman fights about two flawed products. And people are saying, well, we don't really necessarily want either. We want something better than both, and that's Medicare for all. And so there are different groups meeting in different cities around the country. Again, I'm really pleased to see it. There's just a lot of agreement that since we all at one point in time get ill, or we might need preventative maintenance, or just general checkups, or someone that we know very close to us, or in the community, might need assistance with severe conditions, that it's better to have that safety net that we all pay into with a small tax, rather than we all pay an enormous amount of money to the health insurance industry so they get taken care of, and that we are basically drained because we are transferring our wealth upward to the 1%. Why are we doing that? We shouldn't be doing that. And with Medicare for all, the HR 676 healthcare bill that John Conyers introduced, hopefully we won't have to continue doing that. And then one day, someone brave in the Senate might introduce a similar bill. It would be nice to see one of our so-called progressives that call themselves progressives in the Senate, if they would progress towards introducing a twin bill in the Senate to John Conyers' House bill. That would be nice to see. And, again, someday we might see that too. Good luck.